Thank you, Mr. Schrader. I recognize the gentlelady from North Carolina, Ms. Ellmers, for up to 5 minutes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And my questions are going to be directed to each one of you. You know, the cost of doing business in this country is extravagant, and we're losing jobs, and we're not creating jobs because of it. Mr. Loftus, in your opinion, does this 3% withholding increase jobs or decrease jobs?
Decreases jobs, most decidedly.
Mr. McDermott?
That would be out of my area of expertise, Congresswoman Ellmers, to answer.
Well, from a common sense standpoint, if the cost of doing business is increased for any small business company, contractor, doesn't that really equal the loss of jobs? That's one less job for every regulation, every tax that you have to adhere to. That could possibly be a job that you're not creating. Wouldn't you agree?
Congresswoman Ellmers, I can't disagree with you, but I would not be able to base that on our estimates or what we're doing to implement this law. But I cannot disagree with you.
So let me ask you this then. From a small business perspective, contractor perspective, do you believe, do you agree that the cost will have to increase for consumers, that the cost of doing business will go up because of this 3% increase?
Again, Congresswoman Ellmers, I can't say for sure. I'm sure there are a number of different ways that a business person would look at this to try and compensate for it, to ensure that they have appropriate cash flow and to compensate for their profit margins.
Do you believe the revenue that has been found, or the tax advantage that you had mentioned, that there were some tax revenues that were found because of this, do you think that that fully offsets the cost to our consumers?
I don't have the exact dollar amount of what we collected, but I'm quite positive that it would be less than what we're estimating it would cost to implement this.
That it would be actually less, that the money that is actually generated for the government in tax revenue is actually less than the cost to the business owner?
From the Treasury Offset Program, yes.
Mr. George, could you?
Let me answer that from a personal perspective. I think when you mentioned it will increase costs, I think it will increase costs. At one time I was on a small non-profit, small business. It was a school on the board of directors, and cash flow was incredibly important. And this will affect their cash flow. And if you don't have cash, you can't employ your employees. And that actually happened to us a few times. So I understand the impact of small businesses.
Yeah, you know, I mean, we're seeing this over and over again. I had the opportunity back home last week when we were in our district, sitting down with small business owners, some of them contractors, and the cost of doing business is so high that they can't create jobs. There's so many issues. Regulation, taxation is what's harming all of our businesses, and that's why we're not creating jobs in this country. You know, the private sector is where these jobs are created, and until we deal with these issues, we're going to continue to see this. We can turn this around. It's just going to take a matter of all of us putting our heads together. So thank you. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.